Hey, someone press the button so this thing gets started. Why did the number go back over? What happened? Reset the timer? What is this crap? Everyone needs to blame Breezy both on Twitter and here in chat because his camera keeps exploding, so we can't start unless the camera gets fixed. No, I'm just kidding. We'll start without him. We don't need him, right? Oh man, this is too good. Okay, what if I just went to like a just me screen? Nah, no one wants that. Good lord, everyone just flame Parker. Oh, you should just hear. You know what? I'm just gonna hit the button at this point. Y'all just want to hit the button. Make a number go to another number, says Mara Ferris, my favorite dragon mommy. Yeah, we'll go radio spoiler. If I change the screen right now, then I'll look normal. The other two, they'll look terrifying. Alright, he's got 2 minutes before I just... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We did it! We did it! Oh my god, we did it!
I don't know if you have to reformat or resize.
Oh, this is hilarious. Look, we fixed it! We've done it, everyone! Welcome to another episode of Give and Take. The show that is completely original and always professional, never copied from anything you've ever watched before, and always on time. Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of Give and Take, because we are going to kick things off with a spoiler. And not just any spoiler, I think it's the last spoiler of the spoiler season for part The Mistveil. And then after that, we'll continue the Give and Take show. So if you didn't know what this show is, it's basically a show where I pit these two yahoos against each other. I pitch them a topic, and they give me their best takes on that topic, which, by the way, you can see the topics down there of what we're going to talk about today, one of which you as chat will decide, and we will talk about whatever you pitch to us, probably related to MST. And then I give them points if I like their take, and I can take away points if I don't like their take. And if they say Kano, they probably get
Kano's
more.
Good.
Okay, well, there you go. There's we can kick things off right there. We're done. All right. You get free points sometimes if you say Kano at the right timing. So already winning is Dylan, TCG Talk. Dylan, say hello.
Yo, what's up?
Dylan apparently just won as Arachne against a Victor. It's pretty impressive. And then we have Breezy over here. Breezy, whose camera is not currently exploding. Say hello.
Hi. I almost didn't make it. Hello, everybody.
That was, we were close. Okay, here we go. Are you ready, everybody? I think if I did my job correctly, this will work. And if not, then I'll just press post on the video that's been private on my YouTube channel for like 2 days. It's been lurking there. But we will start things off with a spoiler video. So without further ado, let's hit the button. Awaken.
Consider yourself powerful. But what is your power compared to the mountain or the waves? We are all grains of sand in the desert. A wave dashed on the rocks. Let go of what you think you know. Unlock the possibilities of the universe. Free your mind. And embrace your cosmic awakening.
Cosmic Awakening is a brand new, majestic, Mystic Attack action card that can be played by all Mystic heroes. It costs 9, blocks for 3, and says, if 1 chi was pitched to play this, Cosmic Awakening's power is 10. If 2 chi were pitched to play this, Cosmic Awakening's power is 15. And if 3 or more chi were pitched to play this, Cosmic Awakening's power is 20. Your Mystic hero of choice is able to find their true center, then Cosmic Awakening becomes the strongest attack in the game. Hey, that's a card that exists in Flesh and Blood. How about a card that in the late game says, half your life, please and thank you? That's a card that exists in Flesh and Blood, and we just released it. So let's begin the wonderful name of the game, the show. I want your first reactions because I've been editing this video for tens of minutes and I've seen it many times. So tell me what your first thoughts are to this card, both in chat, sound off in chat if you will as well. Let's start with TCG Talk. What do you think about Cosmic Awakening?
I can't wait to banish this card with new and play it for free. No, I was kidding. No, not free. No, this card's crazy. Yeah, there's, I don't. So for anyone that's in the chat, like this is the first time we've seen the card. Obviously, we did not get any like backstory to this card. No, late game, this is insane. If you pitch stack this, blocks 3, so in a pinch, like whatever you block with it. But yeah, this card is pretty nuts. When especially late game, you're down to maybe a couple of hands. You're not going to have the ability to just value block this. Yeah, this card's really good. I don't know why you wouldn't run a 1-of just to run it, right? That's my initial impression.
Breezy, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's pretty nutty, dude. Obviously, the fact that it blocks for 3 is very helpful because you don't want to see this. Oh, did we just disappear?
Everybody exploded. Everyone's dead.
No, it's just
we're
me.
all good.
Oh,
we're all good.
Obviously, you don't want to see this when you're not ready. So at least if you do, you got some pitch and some block. So that's really good. It's not, 2 asterisks down there. But yeah, I mean, I guess to Dylan's point, if you pitch stack this, you also have to worry about people shuffling your deck because that's a thing in this. So pitch stacking is going to be tough, I think. But yeah, I think hitting for 20, I hear that's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you can do it, even for 10 is pretty good. For just 1 chi, So
I agree.
Well, you still have to pitch the 9.
You have to pay 9. So for some clarification, you have to pay 9 for this card straight up. But if you pitch chi into it, which is what you should be doing because otherwise it's nothing. If you pitch chi into it, then you're getting 10. So it's like under rate for a guardian attack, right? If you're pitching 2 chi as part of that 9, then it's like slightly above rate for a guardian attack. And then 3 chi, and it's the strongest attack in the game of Flesh and Blood. And so in that respect, it is, in my opinion, a really cool late game card for specific scenarios that, one, you're going to be getting to that point, and two, you are going to be just getting value off of that. But you could also, like in that second cycle, you could arsenal this and draw into 2 chi cards and just play this card with some pretty decent advantage. You just have to put yourself in a position to take some damage to play this card. But I think it's super cool. 3 physical chi, yeah.
No, I was going to say card.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Parker. You're good.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, New can't play this because she's not going to pay to play this. So she would hit for nothing.
Yeah, she can't steal this.
So I really like that that's like, you know, they put a fence around it in that regard.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
But check this
like
out.
cards.
I think the fact that it's like can be played by all 3 heroes and it's like a finisher for all 3 heroes is what's really cool. And one of the reasons why I really like this being sort of a capper on the spoiler season, because like you could build a version of Enigma that plays this card very easily. You could build a version of New that might be able to play this card, cycles in at the end game, or it could be in the sideboard and you just bring it in for long grindy games, which I could see from an assassin perspective. And you could even run this card out there in like a defensive version of Zen, you know?
Yeah, and cards like this, like not that Flesh and Blood hasn't had it, but cards like this, cards like Regicide, these thematic, like really cool cards. I'm glad they're doing this. Like this is more of like what I want to see in the game, where it's like, yes, does this card math wise always make sense to have in my deck? No. Do I want to put it in my deck? Yes. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm glad they're putting more cards like this, where it's just fun one-ups of like this stupid bonkers thing that maybe happens 1 out of every 50 times you sit down, but the one time it happens, it's like something you remember for a long time. That's a little bit, you know, cheesy, but it's true. Like I'm glad they're putting more cards in like this that maybe just have a more fun, thematic, crazy perspective.
I agree. Breezy, one more comment because I was so hyped that I forgot to even give out points. This is your chance.
Some of the best artwork I think I've seen.
Thank you.
Since
Thank you
Sonata
for saying
Galaxia.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
I knew you would love that and appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like the forward-facing version of Sonata Galaxia.
It very much is.
Yeah.
It very much is. So that's the first topic of the day. It is that banger of a card. But here's the thing.
Great video.
We got a ton. We got a ton of good cards in this set. So we're going to talk about this set as a whole and then fire off in chat what your opinions of this set are thus far, because we need to discuss Part the Mistveil and maybe its power level of how, you know, strong it might be. That's going to be our topic here. I have the card thing pulled up here if we want to pull up a specific card, but I want you to give me your thoughts and opinions on Part the Mistveil, either as a whole or if you want to talk about specific cards. Starting with Breezy, give us your first take here.
Well, this is a take that I've been telling you guys in our chat, that I just am not a huge fan of chi in general. I don't know. It's not for everybody. Like I love that it's really thematic. It doesn't encompass my enjoyment of the cards and the flavor. It's just like the chi thing feels like a little like a little circusy for me. So that's at least the first take I'll give. Will I have fun transcending, you know, and doing the thing to do the thing? Maybe I'll try it. But I think that that's the beauty of the game, right? Is that new sets can come out and you can be really, you know, in awe of some of the artwork or maybe some of the new heroes, but you don't have to feel like you got to do it all. Like you can still just appreciate what you appreciate and you don't have to hide behind that. And so I'm happy to say, or at least not afraid to say, like, chi doesn't seem like it's for me. But that's at least my first take.
I will give you a bonus point for sticking to your guns because you've been on that train ever since we first saw the chi kind of mechanics spoiled. You were like, it's not really my cup of tea, but you've stuck with it, and maybe it'll change as you play with it. Who knows? But
totally,
I think you're 100% on point. It's really up to the person's, you know, individual tastes on that. But TCG Talk, what are your thoughts?
No, I said on Twitter, and I kind of like clarified it in a later tweet, but I didn't think we'd ever go back close to the power of Arya and Monarch. And this is not Monarch Part 1. I'm not saying this is like equal to Chain, as some people replied to it, but I didn't think we'd ever go back to this. This is the most powerful set we've had since Fab 2.0. I think, like, just on face, you can look at the cards, and I don't think anyone's going to argue that. And I'm happy for it. I think they took a lot of lessons learned from Aria and Monarch and said, okay, how can we make a powerful set that's fun, that presents asymmetric play styles? Because although we've had a really balanced meta game wide over the last two sets, we haven't had as much of like a pop offy like turn like meta. It's been more of a math game. So I'm really excited for this set because all three heroes create like this asymmetrical kind of variants, but in a good way play styles, and you have to approach them very differently. I will say, and it's not biased, I think New won this set. That's my initial impression. I think New's cards are absolutely insane. But heroes like Enigma too, again, there's so many ways you could play that hero. Even just playing for fun on Talishar, right? I wouldn't consider it testing, like just playing for fun with some of the cards. Like she feels like the first fair illusionist. Like it feels like you have agency into her, even the bad matchups, but also she can do extremely powerful things. So I'm really excited about it. They did a really good job towards the end of showing the legendaries and how the chi pay off, right? Other than just flipping and using your ability. New with her mask, the illusionist legs, Zin's chest, like these kind of late game payoff pieces and mid to late game payoff pieces. So I'm super excited about it. And we're going into nationals, right? So like this nationals is probably going to be one of the wildest nationals we've ever had because it starts 2 weeks after the set drops. And a lot of people are probably going to be playing against these heroes for the first time in paper. And I would say all three of these heroes will impact the meta. Two of them a little bit more than the other one. But I'm super excited.
You know what? Let's talk about that. First of all, you've given us your thought on which hero won this set, if you will, or spoiler season. Breezy, what is your take? What hero do you think comes out the best out of these, just on paper, looking at the majority of the cards that we've seen spoiled thus far?
Yeah, I think I don't want it to be New because I think that's what it is. I want to be different and say it, and I want to say Enigma, but I kind of believe that it could be Enigma. I just think that it's so early to tell. Like right out of the gate, it's New, but I think that's the illusionist special is to be like, remember when Dromai came out? It was like this biggest gimmick. How do you get all these dragons out? Oh, you just kill them. So that she's not that great. And I think where there's a will, there's a way. I think Enigma is not going to have a face value play style that just is like, I'm going to slap a ton of ward. And maybe she does. But that that asks a lot of questions from an opponent. There are certain heroes that are just, if you don't come up with a solution, you're just locked out. Whereas with New, there's some agency in being, maybe I can play a little bit trickier. I can attack here. Maybe I need just to go up on the defensive. If you, like OTK Vis, you cannot play that against Enigma. You can play that against New. There's certain playstyles that just are locked out of the game with Enigma, and I think because of that, she has more control over who's allowed in and who's not.
I like Matt says, Enigma is the Icelander of this set, if that makes sense. Give her time. That's an interesting take, and one that we could dive into further. Okay, so if we think that these different heroes are at a better shot of splashing into the meta. We'll talk about the meta a little bit later. And you think like maybe this hero is better positioned because of all these cards. What do you think of the overall power level of this set? Do you like where it's at? Where do you think it's a lot? Do you think it's high? Do you think it's right on where it should be? What are your takes on that, Breezy?
I think there was some adjustment. I think there was some adjustment towards the more powerful side of things. Oh gosh, we broke. There we go.
No. Crazy things happen sometimes.
I won't call attention to it next time it happens. I'll just own it. So yeah, I think that the adjustment was appropriate. I don't think that there's no sips, at least from my perspective. No things that are just like, oh, that's just bonkers, go again. You don't have to do anything and you just get to blow out the field. So it seems like there's some agency behind, okay, we're going to make the power level go up, but we're going to make it to where it's a kind of even keel. It still has answers. There's still answers to these heroes, whether you see them right now or not. So yes, power level from bright lights even seems increased. So as early as that, I guess as late as that, whatever you want to say, has increased. But I think that it's a good increase. A lot of people are saying that these cards are pushed or this card's pushed. I think that looks like it because we're coming off the tail of something that was very fair, like heavy hitters is like, here's some raw damage. I'm going to do this thing that's not that aggressive to you. And maybe I'll poke you for 2, poke you for 3. Oh, I'm going to make it gold. It's not that scary.
let me. I just want to interject because I was thinking about this earlier today. If you look at Outsiders, not necessarily the card pool, because obviously Lexi got that card pool and just went to the moon. But if you look at the card pool and specifically the heroes in that set, they feel pretty even, right? They feel pretty fair. That's a good way to put it. And then you look at Dusk Till Dawn, and the entire set feels pretty fair, right? And then you look at Bright Lights, and the entire set again feels pretty fair. And then you compare that to Heavy Hitters, which we would all agree is probably stronger in power level with the heroes coming out of it, stronger in power level. And the point totals would agree with you on that side of things. Point totals go up. But I don't know anyone that could look at me in the eye and tell me that Heavy Hitters is bad for the game of Flesh and Blood, even though the power went up. And we can be looking at this set and saying, the power level is higher, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, and it could be a very good thing. What are your thoughts, TCG Talk?
Yeah, the thing about these decks, at least all this is on face, but it seems like all these decks, we're going to, to be honest, we're talking about New and Enigma the most. I think Zen, I'm not saying Zen's bad. I think Zen's just really, it's going to take a lot of digging to figure out how that deck functions at a efficient rate. But the thing I like about these two decks is they do have counterplay, right? New is extremely powerful, and you can run stuff like Malign and unpreventable stuff in Vambrace, but I can already tell you that board state's going to be hard for New. A tuned board state Enigma is going to be very difficult. And then Enigma can just run over certain heroes, but Vincent, which some people point out in the chat, is quite literally a silver bullet to Enigma. Vincent's just going to make Enigma cry. And if you try to build Enigma to counter Vincent, then you really take away the point of playing Enigma, right? If you try to run Spectral Prowlers and all that other stuff. So the reason I like this set is because, in my opinion, the power level of it is maybe not from a hero perspective, but from a card perspective. If Monarch and Tails are our tier 1, right, power levels, I think this is tier 1.5. But the heroes have way more counterplay, right? There wasn't much counterplay to Voltaire. There just wasn't. But this, everything has a little bit of counterplay to it. Yeah, and so I think set-wise, where the power ranks, it's right under Monarch and Tails. But this, to me, is kind of the peak power level Flesh and Blood has been without being degenerate. And obviously, we'll see how that fares in Nationals. But yeah, I do think this is a really good set for the power level. I think they finally found a sweet spot on where they want to be.
I would 100% agree. I think that they're hitting the right zone and the right spot exactly, in my opinion, where it is the most fun. I think that's the key word, is that it should be powerful. You should feel like you're doing powerful things with powerful heroes, but it should be fun. And it doesn't have to necessarily be fun for everyone, so don't get me wrong. There are always going to be polarizing matchups, but I think it should by and large be a benefit for this set to come out. I think it's going to be. I think this set has really come and, captured a lot of people's imaginations, which is very, very cool. I love that TCG Talk thinks I'm not putting 0 for 4s with Go Again in my Illusionist deck. Mara Ferris is going to put 0 for 4s all up and over the place. That's
it's going to be a red line Enigma. Yeah.
She better have Art of War and Meeps in that deck too. Just saying.
That sounds exactly like something she would do. Okay, let's jump into topic number 3. And this one's going to be open-ended. So we'll see how this one goes. This will be our first time firing away a question. So here's what's going to happen in chat. You are going to ask away a question that these two have to give their take on with regards to Part the Mistveil. It could be about a hero. It could be about a specific card. If it's about a specific card, we could try to pull that up really fast. But they're going to give their takes based on your topic, and we'll run from there. Mara Ferris, as you know, I've played Meeps on camera in Dromai. I can't wait for Dishonor Zen with Tiger cards. There's some really cool Zen cards that can really do some stuff that I'm really excited for. I personally want Meeps to just be everywhere. I think that card is amazing. And
That's a good name for a card. Meeps everywhere.
Meeps everywhere. Oh yeah, that would be good.
Meep
and
allies,
that should have been the winning card for the celebrational. Meeps everywhere would have been good. Oh, this is fun. Okay, here's a question. Florian says, will Guardian be unplayable because of Part the Mistveil? Looking at a variety of perhaps reasons. What do you think happens to Guardian in Part the Mistveil? Y'all are putting them directly on the spot, and I just get to enjoy it. So let's sit back and talk to TCG Talk first.
Yeah, I mean, we're all about like hot takes in this. I think Guardian's in the dirt after this set, like absolutely in the dirt. Like it's not even like me being funny or like emphatic for the camera. Like I truly think Guardian's almost unplayable. Enigma is going to make Guardian just like a nightmare, absolute nightmare. I am a terrible illusionist player, and I played against a Bravo, and they threatened like 230 damage against me and still lost, and I decked them. Like it's just it. That is, and new is actually like a Guardian killer. You can't block with blues. If you try to overblock me, I'm just going to play reactions like Siren's Call and Inductment, and I'm going to snipe from your deck, and then I'm going to activate my ability, and I'm use Slithers to give your Cranial Crush go again. Like, there's just so much Guardian hate in this set.
Yeah.
And then Zen got the one thing that actually helps against Guardian, which is defensive power. Like Zen State tokens, it's a highly more efficient deck. It can play off 2-card hands. It can send 2-card 8s very easily. And then it can also do 36 damage with 4 blues. Like, I think Guardian is quite literally the worst state it's ever been in the history of the game after this set. I don't know. People are already make fun of Bravo right now. And then people say at top tables, Victor's like really bad. I think, like, I don't know why you'd play Guardian after Mistveil comes out. That's just my opinion.
Breezy, do you have as hot a take, or do you go the other way? Do you think it's maybe a little bit too much?
No, I mean, they're not unplayable. You can play them if you like losing. You can definitely. Nothing's
Wow.
unplayable.
Oh,
Nothing's
no.
unplayable, dude. No, yeah.
He knows. He
look,
plays Viscerai.
Listen, talk to me about a deck or a hero that's unplayable. You can play it. How much heart do you have behind it? Yeah, no, for sure. Exactly what Dylan said. It's just a done deal. Like if, and I think it's more of a win, the train comes and everyone on board is either playing new or Enigma, you're just not gonna make it. I hope you play Guardian as if I'm playing as new or Enigma. But to be fair, like, the Guardian players had it coming. It's been season after season after season after season of just powerful, successful Guardians in the meta. It's literally about time. And they've given us, illusionists have been kind of the bane of their existence, but now, get wrecked. I don't know. I'm Oldham still bothers me,
Oldham still
so,
lingers in your in your mind's eye. Okay, here's a follow-up question that I really enjoyed, and we'll start with Breezy because I want to hear his answer deeply. Fatherless Joe says, "What do you want to see for the last 2 expansion slots? There are 2 unspoiled expansion slot cards. What cards, or maybe what hero or what class, do you want to see them for?" Breezy, do you have any particular answer?
It seems like I'm trying to scan in my head. I'm seeing all the expansion slots. It seems like every hero's been covered. So you know what? They could just be extra cracked baubles. I'm kidding.
Deal. Extra cracked baubles gets you a point. I actually give you a point for that. What a bold statement.
Where's the freaking Runeblade expansion, my guys, my friends? Like, where is it?
Do we not
get it? If we don't get it, something's happening. Something scary is happening in the next set. So you better hope we get an expansion card, just for everyone's sake. If they leave us out this one little card, that means they don't want to tease you too early for what's coming. So for the other one, I'm trying to think of who else is missing. Yeah, the Phi card. Everyone's talking about a Phi card lately. So yeah, it would be cool. Do they give direct? It'd have to be direct, like just a generic Draconic card, though. I don't know. Would it be a Draconic Ninja? I would hope that it's just a Draconic attack or something that's really fun. But yeah, give me a Runeblade card. Let's see a Phi card for the folks in chat. That'd be great.
A Phi card would be cool. Apparently, there were like buyouts going on for Phi cards, which we did not make as a topic, but we definitely could have. If there are like buyouts going on for Phi cards and there's not a Phi card, that would be quite interesting because that means someone was spreading some information about a Phi card and it did not come to pass, which honestly would be kind of like the funnier thing. I might actually enjoy that. Nevertheless,
I should have done that. One of us should have done that and just been like, gone into a random chat like the Dorinthia chat and just be like, you guys are gonna want to buy up all those Jubiles.
Just see what happens.
Yeah,
just see if you can bait anybody into those. That's evil, and you get a point for that. Okay. TCG Talk. What do you want to see in the 2 slots for the unspoiled expansion cards?
Yeah, it's really hard. A lot of heroes are covered, and the ones that I think need help, honestly, just got help in heavy hitters. So it's really difficult. I think I would actually, this is not for a point. I would actually like to see another Kano card, not Kano, but Wizard.
You say not
It's
for a point. You said
Yeah,
Kano,
right.
buddy.
It's
Yeah,
not.
You know
so
the
right.
rules.
Well, I would want to see another Wizard card because we've had this conversation before. I think they need to give a good supported Wizard set and then ban Ether Wildfire so they can expand on the Wizard class. Even though Kano is the only one that really uses that well, even though Kano's going off right now. But I would like to see them expand on Wizards, something else with Amp or something else with just another mechanic that that can show what Wizard's going to go into. So that way they can start to work towards retooling that class and it's not completely, hinged by one card. Because Amp seems like it's a fantastic addition. That one is one. And then honestly, I know that he already got it, but I'd like to see Olympia support because I think he needs a couple more cards. That's only because I can't really think of another hero that I would give support to right now. Because like Betsy needs it, but she just had an entire set, so it feels bad to give her expansion. Although they did that with Jeremiah technically. Yeah, I guess Olympia would be my second one.
Betsy's a great choice because
Yeah.
she's the only one of those 3 heroes that didn't get anything. She can't use the other expansion slot Guardian card because it's a Victor specialization, and she doesn't really have much of an identity outside of like the fatigue plan that most people were doing and a couple of like wager things that you don't really do much of. So
it'd be cool to see them give a Runeblade card to Harger's point because it'd be nice to see what they're going to do with Runeblade because I've said before, as long as Warmonger's Diplomacy is a card, they're going to have to change the way Runeblade functions. In my opinion. So I would like to see like maybe a new mechanic of Runeblade, like kind of show what the future of the class looks like. But I think
we got to get away from the mob skies thing. We got to move on from the mob skies.
As long as Diplomacy is a card, you need something different.
Yeah. That's actually a really interesting question mark of where they go in the future of like these classes because it's never going to be the same thing, in perpetuity until the end of time. The class is going to change and evolve. It's still going to be you can see it, how it's already sort of been crafted. These classes are always going to be very flavorful, and they are going to feel like they are. A warrior is going to feel like a warrior. You're swinging your blade, right? Blades matter, but they can go about it in different ways, as you see with Bolton versus Kasai versus Dorinthia, right? So that's the question mark that I'm really interested to see as the game goes. And I know someone way earlier in chat mentioned, what do you think this game is going to be like in 10 years? I think it's going to be very robust with all of these different heroes that have come and gone, but have introduced something new, a new wrinkle to the game of Flesh and Blood. And I gotta say, gentlemen, I don't know what you think, but I like the question from chat as a topic. This is pretty good. We got a couple good questions already. And then what do you think about Tiger Katsu? Will be the last one before our next topic. So we'll have to start with TCG Talk on this one. What do you think about Tiger Katsu? TCG Talk?
Yeah, that's such a hard question. Y'all are really stopping me on this one.
Hey, wake me up when he's done.
No, it's not.
All right,
that.
I'm just gonna tab out.
No, Ninja is so hard right now. Like I won't go into a whole rant, but like this deck is going to be so difficult to figure out what is the most efficient way to do it. Do you try to play Mask Momentum and do whatever? Do you try all that stuff? So the short answer is I don't know which one's better right now. Looking at the new cards that Tiger anything got. The only one that, in my opinion, really, there's only 2 that really slot in really well into Katsu specifically, and that's Aspect of Tiger, which is a 0 for 3 that makes a Tiger if a red attack was the last one.
Yeah.
And then the Chase the Tail is really good, but honestly, like Breed Anger is basically a 1 for 4 3-block leg tap, which I think Katsu doesn't really need. So the short answer is I don't think Tiger Katsu got a whole lot. Now the discussion is it better than Zen? That's a whole different discussion. The one card that I think Tiger Katsu did get that's really good is Maul, the one that gives a Tiger +3 and creates 2 Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's really good. Overall, I think Tiger Katsu is in a good spot. If I was playing like a pure aggro Tiger list, I would play Katsu. But if you're looking for a more mid-range list with the new weapon and stuff, I actually think Zen's better for that, to be honest.
I like it. Breezy, do you have any opinions on Tiger Katsu? Because we can't just let it be a one-sided point scoring affair. As everybody knows, whoever wins this is the champion of spoiler season until next spoiler
whoever
season.
wins this gets Armada's spoiler card. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I play other heroes. I've played this game, y'all. I can talk about other heroes. Yeah, I think that if you're looking at the Kots or the Tiger play line, you are probably better off just playing Zen. I mean, he in theory can just play everything that Katsu can play, but has more synergy in his Mystic Suite that benefits his low to the ground like Tiger play style. So if I were going to approach, man, I really like this Tiger mechanic. What would you have to weigh the options? Why would I play Katsu when I could just play Zen, who is just built like kind of for this? So nothing to stop you from doing either one, but I think that if that's interesting to you, give the one that was just kind of brewed from the Katsu dish a try first. Don't feel like you got to do the Katsu thing just because he's your old kitty Katsu. It doesn't have the same ring. Zenny
Nah, it's
Tiger.
nothing. It doesn't fit as well. Definitely doesn't fit as well.
So yeah.
Well, that takes us to our next topic. As we wrapped up the viewer special, which I actually think that's going to become a new thing. Anyone that's watching live can just chime in, and if we have enough time, we'll just rifle down the comments section and come up with those topics. But now we have to go into our lightning round. I should make a sound for the lightning round. Now that would be spicy. Lightning round sound, that'd be fun, but I don't have a sound, so we'll just have Breezy make the sound. There it was. That was so good. Okay, lightning round. This was a topic suggested by none other than TCG Talk, so we're going to have him go first. You have to fire off all three of these in rapid succession. Are you ready, sir?
Yep.
Who do you think is better? Do you think Zen is better, or do you think Katsu is better?
Katsu.
Okay, Katsu is better. His opinion. That is very interesting. We give a point for that, though.
Are we giving reasons, or you just want us to lightning give an answer?
Well, no, we're going to lightning give an answer. I think that's kind of fun. And then, who do you think is better, New or Uzuri?
New.
New, okay. So
New is better matchup wide. Uzuri wins that actual matchup, though, in my opinion. But good.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And then finally, who do you think is better, Enigma, which is pictured over there, or New Prism?
That's the hardest one.
I agree, actually. I think that one is definitely the most challenging.
Currently, Prism, because I think she has more polarizing matchups, and there's just certain parts of the field where you just win. So it's a little bit better sometimes in a wide field.
All right. Okay. Now, let's do the same thing for Breezy, and then I will give you both an opportunity to defend your answers. If you have the same answer, then you might not have to defend. You might just concur. All right, Breezy. Who do you think is better between Zen and Katsu?
Oh, man. Zen.
Zen is better. Wow, I'm giving 2 points for that answer because it's spicier. Who do you think is better between Uzuri, the old school, well, not the oldest of schools, but the old school, we'll say, Assassin, versus New, Alluring Desire?
I'm going to say New, for sure. I think she's better. I think New's better.
And then who do you think is better between Enigma, like I said, pictured right over here, or New Prism?
I'm going to say Enigma. Enigma's way better.
Okay, starting with you, Breezy. Why do you say Enigma's better? You get a one blurb. Why is Enigma better?
I feel like her whole hero archetype is the Iris of Reality playstyle. And yes, Prism can adopt that. But if you've ever played against that style of Prism, you're like, oh, this is hilarious. No Luminaris. This will be easy. And they just steamroll you to the ground. And the fact that she's got Ward is a detriment to it in itself. But then she can turn around and use them as weapons. And they can have Go Again. And they can have Stack. Shimmers of Silver adds +1. Dude, that whole thing, I think, rolls so much faster than like, you're going to let this Herald hit so that maybe I can make an Angel? She doesn't care if things hit. She's just going to make the thing, and then you have to deal with it.
I like it.
So I think Enigma's got some legs.
All right, TCG Talk, you picked Enigma as well, right?
I picked Prism.
Oh, you picked a New Prism. That's right. Okay, so give me your reasoning between New Prism.
I think New Prism so Enigma, we'll see when the lists become more tuned, but there's Enigma just has true silver bullet matchups, and she also has certain things that people can run into her. It's like Prism, you can run like time skippers, whatever. Like people have talked about that for ages the last couple of weeks, right? But there isn't really a silver bullet card, right? Like again, Enigma, she's gonna have to deal with Tiger Stripe Shuko with ninjas. She's gonna have to deal with anybody that has the resource curve to play Vambrace of Determination. She's gonna have to deal with Vincent. She's gonna have to deal with like Unpreventable Arcane. There's a lot of like heavy counters to Enigma, or someone's gonna have to like basically retool the whole deck. Whereas Prism, you just kind of alter your game plan a little bit, right? If you flip time skippers, then I know I have to play a certain different type of game. I just think Prism has more. Prism, to me, punishes you worse for messing up than Enigma's going to. And she has less silver bullet matchups. And the matchup she is really favored in, it's like literally like a 90-10, right? So because of that, I'd much rather sit across from an Enigma than a Prism. I feel like with most of the decks I even play, I can tech for Enigma, whereas Prism, like, you just lose. I mean, Spectra. You just lose to it sometimes, and there's not much you can do about it.
What about the choice that you made between Azuri and New? You chose New on the face of it.
Yeah, New solves the two problems. I said this recently that Assassin had. One is action point economy. She has 9 instances of go again if you want it. Plus, all of her equipment can give go again. 2 of them, and other reactions can give go again. She can have like anywhere from 6 to like 15 instances of go again in the deck. So that solves that problem. The second problem was the fatigue element, right? Even though Assassin's a fatigue deck, there's certain decks that can fatigue Assassin that can just block 6 and 6, like Bravo, Victor, stuff like that. You can't do that anymore against Assassin because that headpiece is broken. Like I can
That's pretty good.
That headpiece is insane. Like if I flip all my chi first try, like I play a blue attack, I don't even go again on the attack. I just play the blue attack, play whatever 0 cost transcend card I have, flip it, and then activate it in the reaction step, and you banish a card from your hand.
Yep.
And then if I see it second cycle, so on and so forth, I can banish anywhere from like, if I'm running 6 chi in my deck, I can banish 12 to 18 cards in your hand over the course of the game if we could go to the third cycle. So that solves that problem. It solves the fatigue problem. So that's why I think New's can be a lot better. But in that matchup, Uziri's flip, because New doesn't actually, I think, at least initially want to run a lot of reactions, Uziri can really mess with New's hands a lot more. And I actually think Uziri plays better on 2-card hands than New currently does. So
let's not go too deep in the weeds, because you still have to tell me what your thought is on Katsu versus Zen. So what you took Katsu on that?
Yeah, Katsu's just more consistent. You're threatening that combo search every single turn. It's more flexible. You can play yourself out of really crappy hands with Katsu's trigger, going to get a go again combo attack or something. Right now, Zen definitely seems almost like an Ira style. I think Zen's going to end up playing like Ira, where you block with a couple cards, send 8, right? Block with a couple cards. You make a Tiger on their turn with Tiger Eye Reflex, then you play the staff into a 0 for 4 that gets buffed for something, and then the Tiger, right? So, but because I think Katsu's just a little bit more threatening, and in a meta with a lot of armor block, I think Zen could struggle a little bit because I just don't think he fatigues well as other fatigue decks. So, until people figure out Zen, Katsu's still the better ninja right now.
Breezy, lay it on me. Why do you pick Zen over Katsu?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, Dylan kind of just closed out his statement there with it, because I think that people just haven't figured it out. And then here in a month or something, we're going to start to see people saying, no, I just did 86 damage with Zen, like doing just crazy, like low to the ground, just insane amounts of combo. Because I think he embodies a lot of what Fi is able to do with his Phoenix Flames that Katsu doesn't have access to, but he can also tap into the... He can go do Katsu's ability with a chi, right? So he can still kind of have a lot of what makes Katsu if he wants, which opens up his sideboarding possibilities, which opens up, oh, I need to take the defensive approach into this matchup. Or, oh, no, I can go all gas into this and side in some of my more aggressive things. Katsu can do that too, sure. But I think that, I think there's just something to be said about something that's undiscovered, unsolved. And I don't know. It's a weird time in a power level that is as crazy as this set is, to introduce something that seemingly seems well below it, I think there's something that's unseen here. I think there's something going on with Zen, and his combo lines may be even more complicated than surface level. So I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be the better of the two today. Maybe not. Yeah.
I will say this: I sat down to build a CC Zen earlier today, and I was just scrolling through combo cards to use off of his effect, and I was like, "There's too many to choose from, man. There's so many combo lines now. You can build him so many different freaking ways. That is the true flexibility of that hero." And I think that's the reason that he's going to be a little bit of a head scratcher, because I feel like there's going to be a people that figure him out, with air quotes floating in the air right there. They're going to figure him out like in a month and a half. And then they're going to be playing that version of Zen. And then there's going to be like a major tournament, and someone's going to show up with just like some random build of Zen. And it's going to like have all of these other combo cards, and it's just going to do just as well. And people are going to be like, that's gotta be the best deck. Let's net deck that now. And then they'll shift over and they'll net deck that. And then people will be like, well, this is the one. And then everyone will go back to the other one because that one just got a top 8 in another event. That to me feels so much like what Zen could encompass that I will be surprised if it doesn't actually happen. And if he's like super not good. Either way, you picked New over Uzuri. Why New?
She's just cooler.
You know what? I just got to give points for that. She is quite cool.
I don't know, because I think that it's just showing that it's the next step in the evolution of where the assassin class is going, right? We saw Arachne, which, Brian mentioned, some of that was already pieced together when he came in and kind of at the tail end had some final say in kind of where it was going. Then we saw what his influence was, and of course the rest of the teams as with Uzuri. And now I think they're firing on all cylinders with like, oh, this is what a talented assassin would do. So that by the time we see our next assassin, it will be like this complete full circle of what just a non-talent driven assassin truly wants to do. It's just kind of embody that same thing that warrior does, which is like, are you going to block or not? Because if you don't, it's just 3 damage. But if you do, I'm also going to punish you that way too. So I think that's really fun, and it's not just so like 0 for 4 contract, 0 for 4 contract, or oh, is she gonna stealth? Is she gonna do the thing? Oh, it's a command and conquer. I should have blocked with this. Yeah, so it's like the cat's out of the bag there. So I think New's just kind of got some fresh new digs.
All right, so what is your take then on Enigma versus New Prism?
Me?
Yeah.
Why'd you pick Enigma?
Why did I pick Enigma?
Yeah, you picked Enigma.
I did, but I feel like I told you, because she can basically just steamroll with all of her ward. I think that there's just something to be said about a hero that can have 40 life and maybe by turn 3 go up to 60 life, and not feel like just a sitting duck, right? Like she can still turn her offense into defense, which is something that people are not familiar with in this game. So playing into her is a whole new chapter in the Illusionist book, right? Like we all had to figure out how to deal with Prism and then Dromai, and now like the new Prism sneaky stuff that she can do, still not too crazy as far as like unfair goes. It's the kind of unfair sometimes, but Enigma is like really cool, calm, collected type of hero, but then you ignore one thing, and I feel like you ignoring her one thing versus you ignoring Prism's one thing, Enigma can snowball much faster, in my opinion. And if you don't have the tactical wherewithal to deal with it can be game over by the time you're at 32 life, and you're just like, dude, I'm too far gone. There's no way I do this. I think that there's also going to be a lot of fatigue Enigma out there too, and that's a whole new thing you got to worry about.
Yeah, she truly encompasses the board state matters, because she literally just, that's like what she does. Unless it's like playing Cosmic Awakening, and then maybe that's what she does. Who knows? That card exists. You know what? If you missed it, Cosmic Awakening is the spoiler. In fact, I after we watched it on this stream, I actually put the video that's been private live on the old YouTubes. So I don't know what that's doing, but maybe people are watching it over there. If you want to catch that over there and not have to rewind and find the spot, help yourself. Nevertheless, stick here because we have 2 more topics, one of which is about the meta. So, what do you think is going to be the best hero clawing out of this set and into the classic constructed meta? Because we're going to be approaching national season in like, I don't know, three weeks? Is it 3 weeks away now?
Yeah.
It's
A
really
month.
close.
Yeah.
Really close. So my question to y'all is, which of these heroes do you think is poised to do the best into this upcoming meta? TCG Talk, take it away.
I know I sound like Bergenberg. I think it's new. I don't like, in my opinion, on face, looking at the cards initially, I think the only bad matchup new has is Illusionist. And that's not even super bad. It's more Prism than Enigma because you can run, they print that card pick to pieces, which is basically like Malign, but it gets +1 when you react it. And if you run like 6 Maligns and 3 pick to pieces with Vambrace, it's not even that bad, I think. I think New just presents such like unwinnable scenarios for some decks. If you block her, she gains life, and then she mills you with her headpiece. If you don't block her, she can make a 1 power blue, hit for 13 on hit, banish 4 cards from your deck, and gain 2 life. Like, it's just, she does such insane things. And I think a lot of the heroes that are in the top of the meta right now, like KO, I think she's going to give KO fits with being able to just snipe blues from his hand. Like if you think Victor, she's going to make Cry. She just has a lot of, like, she does really well, I think, into a lot of the top decks, except for maybe Prism and Enigma. And even then, I think there's ways around that. So I think New is going to be the best hero coming out of this set going to the Nationals.
What do you think, Breezy? Out of this set, out of the 3 heroes that we've seen, which do you think takes the cake?
I wish you didn't say out of the 3.
What, did you want to pick a hero outside of these 3 heroes?
No.
Well,
no.
we're going to do that next, so spoiler alert. Lay it on me.
I want to say Enigma, and I don't want it to be. I want it to be new. I want it to be New really bad because I agree with everything that Dylan's saying. I just don't underestimate the Illusionist player community. And I think that they have, as a whole, some of the best players in the world gravitate towards that kind of a playstyle, that puzzle playstyle. And they are going to crack that code, whether it be this month or next month. I think by Nats, we're going to see this explosive breakout deck that's been under wraps for Enigma. And it's going to be, I think that New can do some really cool and interesting things and make people really sad for sure. And she can prevent people from doing the thing they want to do.
Yep.
But Enigma, I think is just going to attract a larger kind of higher echelon of professional player base and have them just, in the tank, willing and ready to crack the code. Because on the surface already, I mean, we have never had anything like Ward before in this excessive amount.
It's true.
And what if I was a professional player playing at the top tables? I see Ward as my hero starts with twice as much life as you, which means I can win, 80% more of my games than you. So all I have to do is either survive or find a loop, find my own Enigma loop that doesn't exist yet. I mean, there's gonna be a thing, and I think that's more feasible for an Enigma player to find than New.
I can see that. Okay, so the follow-up question to this first one is, what hero that already exists in Flesh and Blood do you think makes out like a bandit from this set? Which hero do you think gets better? Is there a hero specifically in your mind that, based on what these heroes are going to do, is going to start climbing the ranks, the rungs of the meta ladder, as it were? Breezy, what are your thoughts?
2. 1 for Blitz, because Arachne Solitary Confinement is
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, you're so right. Thank you for bringing that up.
You stole
Holy
my answer.
crap.
That deck is so freaking good now. It's absurd.
Insane. That deck is so much better. All the stealth cards made him just pop off.
Insane. Right. So if your local game store does Blitz nights for armories or whatever, get you an Arachne Solitary Confinement and just go to town, because that deck is going to be insane, especially right out of the gate when people don't expect what's happening. But for CC, I mean, the biggest winner here, I think, or at least the one that's attracting more people's eyes when they see Ward is Vincent. I mean, we've obviously been like kind of jokingly talking about it, but I think on a serious level, as soon as people start to take her more seriously, the same way that people started taking Riptide more seriously, there is going to be some agency that Vincent adds to the meta. Not going to skyrocket to A plus S tier by any means, but getting up from a D tier is a major improvement for a hero that didn't necessarily get a ton of support. She got one card, which is really good. Why she goes up is because the people around her, the heroes around her, are susceptible to the thing that she does naturally. So I think that's why that's going to attract a lot of attention. And with that comes people cracking codes and things that were unseen. There's also like a ton of people that are dedicated to her the same way that Leviah has like that kind of small cult. Those people, I don't underestimate them. So I think Vincent's a big winner here.
I like that. TCG Talk, what are your thoughts on this?
So chat's gonna hate me for this. So Vincent does, because chat's loving Vincent right now, it seems. Vincent does counter Enigma really well, and I could easily see Vincent being just like a counter pick, right? If Enigma is perceived as either A, the top deck, or B, the most played deck going into a big event, Vincent's probably a great choice. However, I can tell you right now, if New is equal to Vincent or to Enigma in terms of representation, I wouldn't touch Vincent with a 10-foot pole, because New just looks at Vincent and says, okay, you're going to be at blood debt 10 by turn 3, and I'm just going to kill you, because whether you block me or not, I'm going to play reactions that rip cards from your hand and banish from your deck, and you're going to be sitting on like blood debt 6, blood debt 7 by like turn 2, turn 3, and then I'm just going to block you out and pitch to AB and kill you. Like Arachne already into Vincent is a nightmare for Vincent, and New's going to make it 10 times worse. So it's going to be this weird thing with Vincent where you're really good, and if both of these decks end up being top, you're going to be really good into one of them and god awful into the other one. So because of that, I think Riptide actually gets out the best in this set.
Yeah.
Riptide is very good in Enigma. It's going to pop. If you swing with a ward with Go again, I'm just going to play Tarpit Trap, and I'm going to pop the wards you're doing, or another ward, and I'm just going to keep doing that over and over, and you're not going to have a board state, because it's basically like the same problem Prism has in the Riptide, except you can't go fetch something from your deck. So I'm just going to pop all your stuff, and then I'm also going to play stuff that you can't defense react if you want to be more defensive. And I have on hits like Blood Rot and all that stuff. I think Riptide's very good in Vincent. Riptide's pretty good in a New. A lot of reactions to help block out what New's doing. Doesn't banish because he's playing a lot of reactions into her. And you can't use any of Riptide's cards as New except for the blue defense reactions if you happen to get rid of those. And maybe Intoxicating Shot, but you still can't use it because it's an arrow and you don't have a bow.
And
so
you can't
play
that.
That.
You have to pay 3 for the traps too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's really bad for New. I don't know who wins that if New just doesn't run D-Reacts right and just tries to mill you. There's a case for that, but I think Riptide's pretty good into that. And then Riptide in general is just good into a lot of the decks right now. Because Riptide's biggest opponent in the meta was Guardian, and I think Guardian again is going to be in the dirt post Mist. So I think that Riptide actually is in the better position than Vincent meta wide post Mistveil.
I like that. And both of you mentioned heroes that I had the fortunate opportunity to spoil. So both of you get an extra point for doing that, because
nice.
we just gotta run that out there. Both of those videos I felt very proud of how they turned out as well. So extra points all around. Our next topic, after summing the meta up, is going to be taking Matt's Vincent list and putting it on stream so that we can break it down card by card. So Matt, go ahead and send that list over. The next topic is going to be breaking that down no, we're not going to do that, but maybe another time. That might be kind of fun, because if you enjoy hanging out with us while we fire topics at each other one at a time, maybe we could do this weekly. We keep saying this and life gets in the way.
I'm looking at you two.
We keep saying this, and then this guy goes to become a cop. Am I right? That's really us. It's really us. We're just busy. No, final topic of the show today, and it's a fun one. Final topic is this, and I've got to fix the card seer, and apparently I have to fix you. What happened to both of you? You've exploded. Here, let's fix it in post, and by that I mean we're doing it live. Let's just delete them. Look at this. We're just going to grab this one, post it there, grab this one, post it there, and Bob's your uncle.
Bada
Everyone,
bing.
just everything works. Nothing was broken at all, and I didn't have to wait for anyone to show up at the tail end of it to see that it was broken at this moment. Not at all. So, give me your top 3 cards that we've seen thus far from Part the Mistveil.
I actually came prepared with this one part.
Yeah, you suggested. So this was the topics, again, suggested by TCG Talk. And so he clearly did his homework. So let's see if I can pull up the card viewer or if it will explode everything. So if I do that, can I still see y'all? Yes. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay, so this is all on Fabrary because Fabrary is just choice. It's amazing, and they just do the Lord's work. And so we have all of these wonderful cards that you can take a look at. So who would, well, you know what? I'll go TCG Talk. You get to go first because you have yours picked out. He's shopping currently.
Yeah, the number 1 card for me is Mask of Recurring Nightmares, a legendary, the one I keep mentioning. That's like my favorite card in this set. That card is
so nuts.
so good for what Assassin wants to do for so many reasons. I won't like berate the point and go over all again. But that's my first one. I can't wait to get this in cold full extended art. Like I will hunt this card down. My second one is Bonds of Agony. That's Assassin card as well. My third one's gonna be a generic. But Bonds of Agony, this card is so screwed up.
Bonds of Agony, because I think
it's a blue card.
Yeah, it's a normal, isn't it? Just a normal
it's a 1 power blue
card,
majestic
so right here. Yeah.
So yeah, this card, if you played or activated 3 more attack reactions, it gets +3 and says when it hits, look at their hand, choose a card, then you search their deck, hand, and graveyard and banish up to 3 cards with the same name, and then they shuffle. So like, if your opponent is, I'm just gonna say it, dumb enough to only block like 6 on this, and it hits, and let's say they have like a KO trying to be like really greedy and has a Blood Rush Bellow in hand, congrats, all of your Blood Rush Bellows are out of your deck now. It's so good. Like I have a feeling this card's eventually gonna get to a point where when people see this card, you're just throwing your whole hand. Like
that happened to me multiple times today. So I put together a new list and I started playing it because I needed to feel like what it felt like to actually do new things. And I quickly found out that when you play Bonds of Agony, people will donate their turn to you, which is really good. That's really good. Card's good.
Which is funny because then you play Gorgon's Gaze and you create a Slither and then you play all the cards they just gave you. So that card's really good. And then another fun card. It's not as like crazy. So it's a generic prismatic ley line.
Oh yes, it was just spoiled like very recently.
Yeah,
like
I want to play this card in Katsu. I want to put it in Arsenal, and I want to play this and then go Surging Strike, Yellow Descendant, Gust Wave, Bonds, Dishonor. And Surging Strike comes in for 6. Yellow Descendant will come in for 6 +2/+2. Yep. Dishonor will come in for 7. Yep. I want to run like a 1 or a 2 of this in Katsu, Arsenal it, and just try to get that line off. And there's ways you can mix this up. You could play Yellow Surging into Red Descendant into Blue Bonds. Like it's not that hard to do. I actually would competitively think about running this at a 1 or a 2 of in Katsu because it's a +7 or +6 right over the turn, and it blocks 3, pitches for 0. You can discard it, and you can pitch it for Kadachi's. Like as a ninja player, like when I saw this card, I was like, I want to try this card because it's really really cool.
This card is very cool. When they spoiled it, I was like, wow, we're at this point where we're just running this out there. Just you don't have to play them in order of red, yellow, blue. It's just the next one you play. It's just the next yellow. It's just the next blue in any order that you wish. It incentivizes you playing out your blue cards and not just holding them, which is what this set is kind of designed to do, is incentivize you of actually playing blue cards and not just pitching them. And then it also pays you off for doing the same thing with yellow cards, maybe not to the same degree, but both of those things, I think, give a lot of merit to the card design on this side of things. I think those are 3 great cards. I like those a lot. I'm a fan. And now it's Breezy's turn. Lay it on us, friend.
Okay, so my first one is Just a Nick.
Oh,
Card
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Card good. Yeah, let me put it on screen so we can take a look at it. Boop.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. I think it's good because obviously when someone's hitting you for 1, especially if it's a blue card and you're as new and your dagger hit, it's like, oh well, it's just 1. No, it's not. It's 6. And if you start to pitch stack this for late game, you know, down there with all your other blues that also hit for 1, late game you have to respect every 1 attack with 2 cards. which starts to eat your deck again. And of course, if it does hit, they get to do the thing where they banish more cards and they can play them for free. But if you're just Arachne or Yuzuri, you can also do this because they care about silver payoff and completing contracts. And this kind of also meets that whole condition. But of course it's stealth, so it does say stealth. So maybe not.
Well,
not
in
that part.
Arachne Solitary Confinement, this is ridiculous.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
ridiculous in a lot.
For sure.
It's ridiculous in a lot of ways. Like this card is so good. It is incredibly good. Not the least of which is the art, by the way.
Oh yeah. It does. The name does confuse me because it's just a man named Nick.
Yep.
Why is
it's
the
just
Nick?
one Nick. There he is.
There he is.
It's just one Nicholas. That should be the Christmas card, the holiday card. It's just a Nick, and it's like literally just Santa Claus. That would be
Santa
good.
Claus in News Place, and he's got, I don't know who he's got on the ground there, but maybe Mrs. Claus.
I told y'all this too.
That'd be weird.
Go ahead. I was just saying, just a fun story. I told y'all this too. Like I played a pick to pieces against Enigma when they were at 12 life, and they said no blocks, and I played 2 just a Nix on top of it, so it went to 12, and they had no defense reactions, and it prevented all prevention, so it killed them at 12 life off of a 1 power blue. So yeah, this card's can be dumb. Really
card
fast.
good. Card indeed good.
Silly.
Okay, lay us on another one.
Is Restless Coalescence.
Okay.
This one's really
I
good.
think that's down here. Yeah.
You passed it.
Did
Go
I?
back up.
Keep
going.
Oh yes, it's the cat one.
Yeah.
So
Art
cool.
on this is sick.
Yeah, it is.
Dude. So because this is an instant, right? If something is coming at you and you want to sacrifice some of your ward, before that happens, you can play this, take all the +1 counters on those, put them onto this, let those old dusty wards die. Then on your turn, you can have this and swing back as Enigma with a bunch of +1 counters. Or if you need some more things, you can once per turn instant remove that and create 1 more Spectral Shield just to afford you keeping 1 more ward. So I think that this card just has so much fun in hand when your opponent's like, haha, I got you now. This is the Uno reverse card where you're like, no, you don't. I'm going to let you pop these wards, but I'm going to take the best parts of these wards and put them on this one. And now you can have my old dusty Spectral Shields and easy to make wards. So
I like that.
I think it's so good. It's such a good card. I wish it blocked, but it doesn't. But that's an instant illusionist aura for you. So
and the final choice, what is your third pick?
My final choice is, because I'm catering to, I'm gonna say it's an expansion slot. It's the brute one. That's basically Swarming Gloomveil.
Horror, Shadow Realm Horror.
Shadow Realm Horror, Shadow Realm Gloomveil. Dude, this card is ridiculous. So obviously, if you're not familiar with Swarming Gloomveil, you get benefits for each little ding ding dink you do. And on this one, if you do all the things, if you banish 3 cards with Blood Debt, you get +1, go again, and you can play a card that you banished. So yeah, sure, you need some resources, but dude, this thing is insane for Leviathan, especially the builds that are floating around now that are just a way more consistent than they were like this time last year. So I think this card is so good. It makes Leviathan really, really, really good.
By the way, Jethro says Nick is slang in New Zealand for it's a term for cut. It is also a term for being cut here. Yeah, I got a little.
Yeah, in the US the same.
That is the same. It's the same thing.
It's just weird that it's capitalized like the name Nick, but grammatically they have to because it's a title. And
yes,
it's just
it
looks funny.
But it is, and also Raphael says the card gives me vibes of Christmas promo card. Not this one. This one is not Christmas promo card, but the previous one. Nevertheless, also Florian asked this a couple of times. What do we think about the new data bank and deck list submission they're working on? I will give you my quick and dirty of it. I think it's cool, and I think that I'm glad that they're doing something like that is officially official. I have to give you my top 3 cards. And I thought about this a little bit, but not all the way. Like windmill slammed all of my cards, but I will go in no particular order until the end, because I do have one specific card that I think sticks out more to me. The first one is actually one that's already been picked. It's Bonds of Agony. This card is so absurdly overrated based on what it looks like, and it's incredibly easy to trigger. Like, New has the capacity to make a lot of attack reactions happen, particularly like from the onboard equipment suite, and that's why I like this card so much. I like it so much because it's so absurdly above rate. And like on the face of it, it doesn't look like it is, but it is incredible how just threatening this card can be. Like if you're playing this into any deck that has that like linchpin card, they immediately are considering the possibility of just donating cards to you because they have it in hand. The moment it's in their hand, they're like, stop, no thank you, I'm not interested. That's pretty good. So like I love this card. 2, and this is one not necessarily for the card itself, but actually for the art. I think this is beautiful. I think this piece of art is freaking incredible. I love it to death, and I want it in Cold Foil Marvel just to look at it. Like I would play this card in my deck. Yes, period. So I play all of my like fancy cards. I play my CNC that I pulled, the little fancy one. I would play this too, but this is worthy of going on a shelf as well. Like this is worthy of getting a print and putting it on your wall. And so I'm going to pick this card as my number 2. And for anyone that knows me, the
Kindle.
number 3 is so easy.
Kindle.
Card's bonkers.
I mean, come on.
Card's so good.
Come on now. Do y'all understand? Do y'all understand what this card does? TCG Talk earlier in the stream said that he wanted more Kano cards to give Kano a different like sort of deck building option. This card does that. This card asks you. This card is Sash for Sash KO. This card asks you to build the deck differently, but it still lets you do the combo thing. But you don't also have to do the combo thing because this card exists. This card's also a blue. If you look closely enough, it's a blue because it always finds you a blue off the top because you always play it when your hand is empty. So it's technically a blue. It's an E-pot that just lives in your hand and can be played out at instant speed. This card is insane. This card's so good. Kindle Spindle makes your opponent dwindle. That's the play right there. This card makes my heart so happy. So happy, in fact, that I got out my Kano deck and I built it to the exact specs that I want to run it. And I have 3 empty card sleeves, and they are going to be taking Kindles and popping them in. This was like the Kano deck that I practice with and that I play with, and I had built it to a different spec, and I had it like this for the longest time. Nope. After playing with that card a few times, I was like, yep, we're scrapping all of it and retooling it to be a Kindle Spindle deck. And it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I mean, honestly, there are so many beautiful things in this deck, or this set. Like, we could have even talked about how good this card is, right?
I almost said it, but
yeah, it's good.
The card's so good.
Everybody got what they were asking for with Arcane Barrier. They got what they were asking for. People got like actual max support, which is kind of cool.
That
like,
is pretty cool.
How is this set? And this is perhaps the final question of the show. How is this set going to be viewed in the future? Because in my opinion, this feels like a really good slam dunk for every type of player, every hero, aesthetic wise, art wise. Someone in chat mentioned earlier how they felt about, whether it's actually Japanese versus Chinese aesthetic. I do want to make a quick aside. I don't think that's the point. I think the point is that we're being introduced to the mystical land of Mysteria, not that they're recreating Japan within the game. That this is what Mysteria is, and it just so happens they're coinciding its release with that. But what do y'all think about this set? Breezy, start us off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps to solidify 2024 as the year that Flesh and Blood became the powerhouse that it's going to be for many, many years because of this heavy hitters directly into part the Mistveil. It's like you're walking into an ice cream shop. What flavor do you want? And it's not like, oh, you got to go wait. You got to get the set from, oh, that hero's almost, no, this was like just the last few months. We've got so much flavor, so much diversity, so much to pick from. And everything feels really well balanced within itself. I'm not talking about the meta game and all the balance there. I'm talking about as far as the design of the game goes. you can see the path that they took, like mentally, strategically, from heavy hitters into Part the Mistveil. And I think that resonates whether you like want to dig that deep or not. Because on the surface, you can kind of feel something. You're like, dude, this just makes sense right now. But then, yeah, dude, I think before this set even dropped, when there was just Part the Mistveil, we were talking about like my biggest thing that I wanted to see was just this kind of art and aesthetic, and they did that. Obviously, not because of anything that I said, but it feels really good to see that the things that people are like naturally, organically wanting from this game are kind of also in their best of interests as well. And it's not this thing where they're like, oh, they're just rinsing and repeating the same old thing. No, it feels very much like the next fresh thing. And I don't know how they do it. I mean, I know they're still a relatively small team in regards to TCG companies, but dude, their creative minds feels like there's a million of them. And it doesn't feel like the well is drying up anytime soon. And this set, like, is just pure evidence of that. This, I think, Part the Mistveil will bring so many new people to this game. And because of that, I think it's a slam dunk.
What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, no, that was similar. No, is this people keep need to remember that this is the first set ever in a new country and a new market, right? And it would be so cool in the Japanese market to like you're new to this game and this is the first set you come into, because there's so many dynamics and so many things. Like it's fresh, and I think it's going to be huge for the game to spark interest. Like if I could pick a set like for people to start on other than Welcome to Wraith, just because of nostalgia, like I would actually pick this set. I would pick it over Aria. I'd pick it over heavy hitters, because I think that this provides both like the value side and the competitive side of what the game is, but it also provides like the fun, artistic, thematic style of the game that we've seen in other sets before. It mixes both of them. So I think that this is like one of the perfect sets to start in a new market, and I'm really excited to see how it grows the game.
I like that. So I have to follow that up because that's such an interesting, audacious statement. Give me very specific reason as to why you would pick this set this early on to teach, or to maybe just encourage a new player to jump into. I know you mentioned it sort of, you mentioned it very broad strokes, but is there anything specifically about this set? Because that is such an audacious statement. I have to hear more.
No, yeah, I think so. I only said that because I actually talked about this at Armory today. Is like this set, in my opinion, brings all three things. There's a bunch of different archetypes in Flesh and Blood, but there's three really good ones to learn on, from easy to hard. One, Zen, I think, is the easiest. It's very value. It's very Iris style, block, attack, right? You kind of weigh your options mathematically, and then be able to do a cool power turn when you see it. Really good for new players. Then you have New, which is the disruption side. Like someone said, the Enigma's the Icelander this set. I think New is the Icelander this set, because I think New is a deck that forces other decks to play on a different axis. It forces you to play on a different cost curve, and it forces you to deal with disruption and be able to play through it. So I think New gives the disruption side of Flesh and Blood, and then you have Enigma, which gives the true board state style of Flesh and Blood with like the perfect mix of Jeremiah and Prism. So it presents all three like major, like notable ways Flesh and Blood has been played so far, with disruption, board state, and value. And so I think it's a really cool game to like bring in every style of person that like wants to play the game.
That's a quite cool take. Hot take. I'm not sure. But because of that take, I have to give you the final point and the win for today's episode. That was down to the wire. I thought actually Breezy was going to take it at the end.
Wait, the Kano point actually mattered.
The Kano point actually, holy crap, the Kano point actually mattered. Can you believe it, everyone? I'm gone. Now I'm here. I'm here. Here I am. There I am. Can you believe that the Kano point mattered? Hey, what a crazy set we have in store for us. We've got a really good set that we're going to get to dive into very quickly. And TCG Talk, as the spoiler kind of episode champion, give us your final take before we say goodbye to everyone about Part the Mistveil. Something small that you can leave us with.
Pre-release is not this weekend, but next weekend. Invite somebody, go to your pre-release, support your stores, please. A lot of stores have one kit, some have two. Make sure it's full as much as you can. So support your stores, go to a pre-release, have some fun with that. I know we have two here locally. I'm gonna go to both. I think the set's gonna be super fun and limited too, because like the whole dynamic of everyone's playing blue cards is kind of a cool thing. So I'm really excited about that. So please support your stores, go to your pre-releases.
Breezy, do you have anything to add to that statement? Do you have anything else that you'd like to say about Part the Mistveil?
Only you can prevent Prism from maintaining in this meta for much longer. So get out there, play some Part the Mistveil, crack the code, and make Luminaris redundant.
There you go.
That
I
is
like
all I
that.
have.
And I will finish this out by saying Enigma Demi Hero win.
Straight up.
When's
Really?
the Demi Hero showing up?
It's a Fabled.
Dude, I thought you had it. I thought
Fabled
you had
Enigma
it.
Demi Hero? Is that like a thing? Okay, bye everyone. Hey, if you enjoyed
Maybe.
this, leave a comment down below.